How's everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week. Is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday? Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. This is your boy TraderPrad. TraderPrad. But if you guys are ready for this show to get started, why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. Yo, we're here. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? How are we doing? Why is it so dark? Maybe I need to turn this light on. That would maybe make a little bit of difference, huh? How's everyone doing? Welcome back. It is time. Final stream of the week. Is it Thursday? It is. No, final stream of the week. But it's going to be a fun one. Let's see what kind of opportunity setting up for us tomorrow. Let's prepare for a potential free fall Friday. Well, kind of today, if you look at how the market played out, it looked like free fall Friday was going to, potentially be in the realm of opportunities. We started off the day selling off pretty hard to the downside, but then that bounced on the market and we reversed that sell-off completely. So a little bit of a question mark over there. Nvidia broke 150 and then Nvidia just slammed down to the south side. That was crazy. I was up pretty well to start off the day on Nvidia, and then Nvidia just kind of turned my day right off the bat to start the day with a very slight, tiny negative. Very tiny, did not matter at all, but very easy to get out of it for the rest of the day. And when the market's crashing like that, you just simply get onto the shorts. MSTR gave you a big short opportunity. I did not trade MSTR, but boy, oh boy, was it an insane short opportunity. People on Twitter posting, their best months ever, their best day ever, thanks to MSTR. However, we weren't really allowed to trade MSTR at our trading floor unless there were specific areas where you were allowed to trade MSTR. So I was like, at this point now, there's too many rules and regulations here. I'm just gonna ignore the stock. I'll go look to make money somewhere else on stocks that I actually prepared on. So I had a pretty decent day, a nice little break of the red streak that I was on. I was on a nice little red streak, kind of breaking my mental, hurting my mental, but a nice little comeback from that today, actually making back a couple of my red days. So feeling good about that, mentally feeling better, and excited to see what opportunity set up tomorrow. We got, we don't have to stare at MSTR all day tomorrow if we can't trade it, but we can for sure talk about it, set up for some opportunities. Today MSTR was just insane, but we got earnings names that reported today after hours. Tomorrow pre-market, nothing really that I care about, but we got earnings names reporting all throughout the week today that moved around also. So a bunch of those are on the watch list. Some news movers, some energy names such as the nuclear energy. So we got a pretty good watch list over here. Even a banking sector, XLF broke out to a new all-time high. So the banking sector is on the watch list also. So let's head over to the main screen and talk about all things fun for tomorrow. And yes, Barkey, I see your message. Net app, I think I remember the, ooh, why is that getting cropped out? Oh, hold up, I know why. Boom, no longer getting cropped out. Boom, no longer getting cropped out. Net app, I can't remember if I know the ticker, but I know I'll find it pretty easily. So let's just head over to the main screen and then find these tickers for Barkey. All right, Barkey wanted net app. Did they report today after hours? I think they did, right? They reported after hours. Here's a quick picture of some of the other companies that reported. There you go, NTAP. So I guess it was that easy to find the ticker for it. I do have Gap, Intuit, and ROST all on the watch list already. Baidu, Pinduoduo. Baidu moving all the way back into the 52-week low. Pinduoduo breaking down to the south side. BJ's or DE, I can't remember which one, or maybe both of them made a nice pop to the north side today. Nvidia obviously very back and forth, especially after breaking 150, coming back below 150, and then a little bit of a back and forth action. Snowflake going exactly to that 170 area. As I told you, don't be surprised if Snowflake opens up and just runs to 170. It did give you a good trade on the breakout of 170 if you were looking for it, or you could even got into the bids on VWAP and gotten long off of VWAP. So Snowflake for sure on the watch list for tomorrow. PanW, big move to 400, reject off of 400, settling around. Guess what? A price that we mentioned yesterday on stream. It settled exactly at 385 to 386 area, and it was holding just above 385 to 386 after the initial opening swing. Bang. After the initial opening swing, holding 385 to 386, I got long in that area. I did not expect a bigger move, so I scalped it for a $3, $2 winner. However, that move gave you a move all the way back into 400. So 386 long, you could have gotten 400 very, very easily, only by risking $1. So I fucked up that trade pretty drastically, but that is the, oh, let me just hide Barket's message over here so you guys can see the rest of the stocks on the earnings board. Zim, potentially should keep an eye on Zim. I haven't really, ugly pullback on Zim. Okay, maybe not. Couple other stocks, maybe Walmart's on the watch list for sure. So let's just head over to the charts. Look at NTAP, was it? NTAP. So NTAP reported earnings today. Looks like a green earnings report. We'll obviously head over to Benzinga to read the earnings report. On the day before the report, the stock moved into the previous consolidation high. Why is it stuck? It usually used to not say stuck like that. Oh, is this why? Oh, that's why. Yeah, I was gonna say, it never used to stay stuck like that. After throwing in one drawing, it used to go back into chart. So I was wondering what was stuck. It was stuck in drawing mode. NTAP, well, very interesting move over here, moving into previous resistance and kind of rejecting that area just before its earnings report. Let's see if the earnings report potentially took the stock into the previous highs that we just marked up, and you can see how we broke through those previous highs, but then coming back and then settle slightly below those previous highs. If this report is good enough, then we should potentially expect the stock to start trickling a little bit higher in pre-market itself. This move at the moment right off the bat reminds me a lot like Keysight's earnings move without reading the report itself. Very much like a Keysight's earning move, that is KEYS. So if you're looking to compare the earnings move for any comparisons over there, you can open up that stock. But let's go read the report for NTAP real quick, see if it's even worthy to put it on the watch list. NTAP reports 1.87 per share. Excuse me, 1.87 per share. beating estimates of 1.78, 1.65 revenue, 1.65 billion, beating estimates of 1.64, barely increase over 1.56, slight increase over same period last year. Hybrid cloud segment 1.49 compared to 1.41. 168 million for public cloud compared to 154. Billings 1.59 billion compared to 1.45. Record all flash array annualized net revenue run rate of 3.1. I'm gonna pretend I know what that means. 3.8 billion, an increase of 19% year over year, growing. I guess that's the main thing that we need to see there. First party and marketable place cloud storage service revenue grew approximately 43% year over year. I'm wondering why they did not mention the actual notional value for that instead of just putting the growth number, but okay, we'll take it. Record second quarter non-GAAP operating margin of 29%, returned 406 million to stockholders through share repurchase programs and cash dividends. Are you gonna announce another one? No, never mind. Our strong Q2 performance, a bunch of stroking their own ego over here comments. No outlook mentioned. I guess, you know, slight beat on everything, if you ask me. Flawless. Did I just read flawless? No, sorry, did not say flawless. I'm just reading things over here. So those are the numbers. Is this the outlook? That is the outlook. So C's 2025 revenue 6.54 to 6.7. But we don't see the estimates, sadly. Q3 revenue coming in at 1.61 to 1.7 and EPS at 1.41 to 1.5. That looks to be a little bit lower than what they reported in the EPS side. Is that not? What did they just report? They just reported 1.87. So quarter over quarter, they seem to be decreasing on EPS, but about the same revenue quarter over quarter being reported at least. I guess, you know, this could be kind of seen as a bullish indication for the stock to pop up over here. The immediate reaction on the stock, however, was not acceptance over the all-time high. So as you can pull back and see, that is the all-time high on NTAP. It's a very simple trade at this point. If the stock starts holding above the all-time high area, which we're actually holding under, it's also the earnings anchored VWAP. So if we're holding under the previous all-time high, then there's just simply no long anymore on the stock. But I like the trade very much, so I'm going to put it on my watch list over here. I also need to go find what the stock's other important numbers are. So let's type in NTAP over here. What is your PE? 24. You're not expensive, at least not that expensive, right, compared to other companies. Wink wink, nudge nudge. So if all things considered, with the way the stock is moving, potentially pre-market you should see buyers coming in and turning this 134.50 to 135 area into a support. I forgot to look at the main thing that I actually pulled it up for, which was the ATR, 2.76 ATR on NTAP. I might just upgrade the importance for the stock to purple, which is the highest priority for me. But I'll downgrade it if I don't see what I want to see, which is basically the stock holding in this area. At which point, looking for longs on the dips for a potential breakthrough the pre-market, the all-time the after hour high, which is currently the new all-time high, and a potential bigger move to the north side. If you ask me, however, the stock potentially just easily trickles higher in the pre-market and then opens up much higher than 134, then 135. So we're gonna potentially have new price level discoveries. Wait for good patterns, wait for potentially the opening range 5-minute breakout. If the stock opens up somewhere here or even somewhere up here, and it's getting ready to take the opening range 5-minute breakout for the stock on the high, I would say just take the opening range breakout and give it decent amount of risk, right? So maybe take less size, give it good amount of risk, and just enjoy the ride up to the north side. If this stock's earnings reports actually worthy enough of that big move, it will give you one. But if it's not, you'll get stopped out very quick, and then you just walk away from it. You take a quick little damage on that position, right? So very interested to watch how the stock sets up tomorrow in pre-market. INTU has a decent enough of an ATR, so for sure keeping an eye on this one, but it's a pretty expensive stock if you ask me. So it's a $600 stock going into, I guess you could say $700 stock going into $600 at this point. With the ATR of $18.36, big down move on INTU. Let's go check out what the earnings report is. Right off the bat, it looks to be a good report, but the market just did not like it at all. Reported 2.5 cents per share, beating estimates of 2.35. Quarterly revenue 3.28 billion, beating estimates of 3.14. Increase of same period last year of 2.98. So that's pretty good. All things looking good so far. Global Business Solutions revenue grew by 9%. Online ecosystems revenue grew by 20%. Credit Karma grew by 29%. Consumer Group revenue went down by 6%. Pro Tax Group dipped by 7% as the company lapped the period over a year ago that included the extended tax filing deadline for most California filers. We've had a strong start to the year as we demonstrate the power to Intuit AI-driven expert platform strategy by delivering done-for-you bunch of comments, blah, 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 blah. Where's the outlook? Intuit reiterated its fiscal year guidance for the earnings between 19.16 and 19.36 per share. The company makes money, all right, versus 19.33 estimates. I mean, the high end is not that much higher than the estimate, so I guess it's a little bit shaky over there, but still, they're making $19 a year. The revenue between 18.16 billion to 18.34 billion versus estimates of 18.26. But however, if you look at the revenue side, 18 billion in a year compared to the big dog Nvidia, 30 billion per quarter, baby. Bang, 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 bang. Just killing it. So let's look at INTU real quick also, and the PE scale. How expensive is INTU? 65 PE for a $600 stock is actually insane. And if you actually look at it, we're also going right back into a bunch of consolidation area where also the long-term moving averages are the 200, the 250, the 300. All the long-term moving averages are right around that area too. So expecting the stock to get slammed more after showing you a growth on year over year on such a big company like this, I'm not sure you want to be really heavily short on this company. I think looking for a dip buy would be a way easier trade if it sets up, at least if it sets up, especially if we go into 600 back again tomorrow. I would love to look for a dip buy over there. I like how right now the stock is finding buying above Wednesday's low. Which is also where the earnings anchored VWAP is, interestingly enough. So if we continue holding above that Wednesday's low, potentially a good long opportunity back through. You can see how buyers already stepped in big time off that 600 area. They are looking to snag up any shares they can of this company. So INTU potentially on watch for a dip buy opportunity. GAP. Let's over to Gap. Oh boy. GAP with a big move. I guess it's going to be $25. Damn, that's all the way back there. All right, I like it. Let's see GAP fly, baby. Fly to the moon. Not financially invested in GAP at all, but I just love seeing comeback stories, especially when you have companies like ANF coming back when nobody sees anyone wearing ANF anymore. Ooh, you know what I see on ANF right now? An awesome anchored VWAP pinch setup. So that is this anchored VWAP right there from that earnings report, and we got one from this earnings report. Surprisingly enough, the stock seems to be holding slightly above that anchored VWAP right now. So we got a long-term anchored VWAP, we got a little bit of a short-term anchored VWAP, and the stock is pinching between those two anchored VWAPs. A breakout, a pullback, a retest, and a fail for a bigger short, or a breakout, pullback, hold, and then a move higher for a bigger move up on ANF setting up, but that's a long time out. Let's go back to the stock on question over here, the one that actually reported earnings today and made a monster move. Let's see if it actually went into that line we put in just now, and it did, just slightly above the line we just put in, into $25.22 on GAP. Time to read the earnings report. Let's pull up Benzinga. If you guys are interested in Benzinga, please check out the link below in the description. I'll actually post it in the chat. And all of my streams so you guys can check it out. Right here are the 4 affiliate sponsors, the products that I actually use every single day. Trade Ideas has been giving me some amazing trades recently. Mamma mia, I just need to follow Trade Ideas more. I need to stop thinking for myself. I have a back tested system. Let's just trade the back-tested system. It's nice and easy, right? Flash Research helps me backtest systems and also helps me find an edge on small caps. So I would urge you guys to find take a look at Flash Research. They actually have a Black Friday sale coming up, or it is already live. So go look at Flash Research. Benzinga Pro obviously is what we're using right now to take a look at the earnings report. So let's go into the Benzinga screen. GAP, what did you do? GAP reported 72 cents per share compared to 57, looking good. 3.82 billion compared to 3.81, about flat. Increase of 3.76. Okay, increase from 3.76 same period last year. Net sales increased 2% versus last year. Comparable sales up 1%. Operating margin 9.3, improved 270 basis points versus last year. Market share gain across all brands in the quarter. Gross margin was 42.7%, increased by 140 basis points versus last year's gross margin. Merchandise margin increased 90 basis points versus the same period last year. Okay, what is this? Ending inventory was down, so that's a good thing, I think. Athleta was up. Is that I guess something that they own? Old Navy is up comparable. Gap and net sales were up comparable. Banana Republic up comparable. All things looking good. I'm proud that Gap Inc. delivered a bunch of comments about themselves. Gap raised its full-year outlook for net sales, gross margin, and operating income growth compared to prior expectations. The company now sees the net sales up 1.5 to 2%, gross margin growth of 220 basis points, and operating income margin of mid to high 60%. Okay, this doesn't give me numbers or estimates. I hate when they do shit like that. But overall, looking at the numbers right now on Gap, this looks to be a little bit of a good reversal story, moving up back to the north side, reclaiming a big solid peak high. And if you can see right there, that peak was before the most recent earnings report. So the most recent earnings report didn't really help the stock out, I guess, but hoping this one helps it out by keeping the stock above 25. I think it's a very simple idea. As long as you see Gap holding above 25, I think going long is pretty simple on that trade. What is the all-time high on the stock? Wow, okay, not that far out. So GAP potentially having a monster reversal coming in very soon. Let's go take a look at GAP's couple numbers over here. What is your PE? $10, or sorry, 10 PE, not $10. 10 PE. So GAP, hella cheap. At that point, GAP might just be even getting ready to charge, and on an absolute charge. Where are we today? That's where we are. That's 30%. I told you we could see Snowflake easily going into 20+%, right? It went there. 20+% on this stock, 25% would be right into this little high, and then above that would be 36. I mean, you know, why not go into the all-time high tomorrow if we have that momentum behind it, that strength behind it? So I think this stock just got upgraded to purple from orange. Very high priority. As long as we hold above 25, I'm going to continue looking for that long on GAP. Hopefully it gives me a very clean setup on a risk to reward basis where I don't have to risk a lot, but I do get the potential opportunity to reward a lot from it. ROST, roast. No, don't roast me, but that is the ticker. ROST, roast. What is your PE? Let's start from there. 23 PE, ATR of $3. 23 PE, ATR of $3. Let's go read the earnings report now. Actually, let's go see how the stock moved, because I'm not really a fan of the daily chart. The daily chart kind of turned me off by looking at it, but this got me turned back on again. And also look where the earnings anchored VWAP landed, turned on again. All right, we're watching the stock quickly putting down 151 on the notes. Right now, we're going to color the stock orange to begin with, but depending on the earnings report, maybe we can upgrade the stock a little bit. So marking that area, that's 145. The stock is already above that. This is where the stock is at. This is last month's high, October high. Also, you can see how all of August's low is basically October's high. We broke down from here. We pulled back. We rejected that support area and turned it resistance. The stock is now going right back into that resistance pocket, potentially turning that resistance back into support, or maybe turning it back into a resistance for a chance to close the gap and then break back out later on. So Ross setting up for some fun tomorrow, in my opinion. As long as we play within the ranges, I'll be very excited. Pull back into 151 for some sort of a long opportunity. That's where the earnings anchored VWAP is ending into right now in the after hours. But if we start just breaking out higher and higher, then oof, who am I to stop it? Is this all-time high? That's also very damn close to all-time high. Also very damn close to all-time high. Lots of fun names setting up over here. Maybe Rust can also get upgraded to purple depending on how it trades in pre-market, but I do believe NTAP and GAP. Let's actually go take out what NTAP's 30-day volume is. Oh, NTAP's 30-day volume is only 1.5 million, but you know what? I think we'll see some relative volume, and if we do, it stays purple. This guy's 30-day volume is 2.75, a little bit better than NTAP if you ask me, so maybe Ross needs to get upgraded to the purple level too. We'll throw Ross in purple for now, but it'll get downgraded to orange, which is still a high priority, but just means that it does not have enough volume to keep an eye on it right off the open for me. Maybe take less size off the open. It doesn't have that much volume, period. That's basically the idea. Let's head over to the China sector. I traded Futu today. Finally, Futu broke down that glorious support level that I was watching for yesterday and the earnings day. It never really broke down that level on earnings day. Never broke down that level yesterday. Today it broke down, pulled back, rejected that area, and gave you a very clean short from that area. Let me show you the chart right here. So I had an alert order on the breakdown. That alert order filled. I was watching the stock after that alert order filled. Then it pulled back and it just could not really get back above that 86.50. It tried to get back above 86.50, but it would just get stuffed right back down. And I got to enjoy the whole ride move to the downside. Basically got out my last few shares at $85, and you can see how the stock kind of consolidated above 84.50. So Futu, in my opinion, if we pop back into this 86.50 area and give you opportunities to look for a short, very easy, what you can call a layup, maybe even a slam dunk, right? This trade will be so easy if you just wait for the barriers to come in and look for shorts to set up in the barriers. Today's VWAP, that's around $86, 86 to 86.50 basically. If you see the barriers coming in around these previous known levels on the stock, I think you got an easy ride back into today's low, and maybe even a potential break of today's low for a bigger retracement back down on FUTU. Today, Baidu slammed down on earnings report back into its 52-week low. So again, easy setup. Potentially it bounces off of this low and doesn't really break it. Fine, no problem. But what happens if it does break that low, especially after the stock went on an insane ride up? We got a lot of hype behind China stimulus, a lot of buyers coming in, buying up stocks like Baba, Baidu, Pinduoduo. But now that these stocks are moving back down, some stops are getting triggered, some buyers are taking their profits, some buyers are taking their damages. Also, as we're moving down, now a nice little volume spike back up. We're above the 20-day moving average on volume. We're pushing back into the 52-week low. So all things are just basically go for me. The second the stock gets below 79.68, 79.50. So I'm just gonna put 79.50 as my watch, kinda, because the stock could potentially go into 79.50 and kind of fail break and then run up, or even 79 fail break and then run back through. So you want to be careful, but if I can catch a good short opportunity through 79.50 over here on Baidu, for sure interested. However, Pinduoduo not as clean compared to Baidu or compared to FUTU, but it did give you a good short opportunity off of its earnings report today. I did not read the stock's earnings report, but you know what I will do? I'll actually quickly delete all my drawings and throw in the earnings anchored VWAP, so that way I can watch to see how that plays out. That looks like a solid bounce on today's low multiple times. So maybe if today's low breaks, Pinduoduo gets hammered a little bit more on that move down. But right now, just based off how it is, I'm not really as interested to short Pinduoduo as I am to short Baidu. I'm also not as interested to go long Pinduoduo as I am Baidu, because Baidu's level is just much cleaner, way cleaner. The one thing that sucks is Baidu's liquidity is much worse compared to Pinduoduo. Baidu trades way less volume. The spread sometimes sucks. Actually, Pinduoduo spread sometimes much uglier. So maybe Baidu actually helps out. It's going to be potentially slower, but it's going to work and help you out. So if FUTU, BIDU take precedence for me, but Pinduoduo on the watch, but not on the real watch, if you understand what I'm saying. If you catch my drift. Okay, BJ. I love it. I love BJ's, that is. But the stock is pretty cool too. BJ, so let's talk about this. Going into all-time high, is it? Yeah, all-time high break, simple trade. Right now, you're just waiting for the stock to pull back and stay strong above the previous all-time high. Let's say $92.50 to $92. As long as the stock stays above $92.50 to $92, you can potentially continue to look long on any sort of dips. Why did I type it like that? On any sort of dips on this name, but the priority for this stock for me will be pretty low. However, I said the same thing about Walmart, and I missed a beautiful long on Walmart on day 2, and now day 3 Walmart making a new all-time high. So BJ could potentially give you a little gift after holding up at 92 to 92.50 area, a little long back into 95 maybe. So doesn't hurt watching it. $2.55 ATR. If we get long into 92, a potential move into 94, I'll take it. You're not risking much by going long around 92, in my opinion. You're risking very little going long around 92. But going long 93, you're gonna have to basically risk 92, because you don't know if you're wrong yet until the stock starts to find weakness below 92. So you want to be able to cover that scenario. So you want to make sure your longs are as close to this 92 area as possible. Let's go to DE. Maybe I want to quickly go back to BJ and note that level for today's high, which is the new all-time high, 94.67. Next stock, DE, low priority. Might not even trade it. Yeah, I possibly will not be trading it tomorrow, but a nice pop. So I will mention it to you guys. Nice pop. You might get some swing longs coming in, some intraday longs. One good trade opportunity potentially to keep an eye on DE is a dip buy opportunity into the earnings anchored VWAP slash today's VWAP, which is around $430 or so. Today's low 410. I don't think that really comes into play. So anywhere from today's earnings anchored VWAP, a dip buy, you can potentially look for a long there. But if it doesn't hold the earnings anchored VWAP, I'd be careful to be looking long on DE. It's gonna not be on my watch list tomorrow. I'm not gonna trade it at all, I'll be honest with you. NVIDIA, monster move past 150 to start the day, but then immediate slam down and reject past 150, and then a bounce again and closing the day flat. You know what that is called? A big fuck you by the options market. The options market just basically put double fingers up to every options player and said, we're gonna peg you here, we're gonna peg you here, and the great options pegging, the market is gonna close the stock absolutely flat, doing nothing. So winners, options makers, options writers. Losers, everyone who bought the options. So far though, however, it's been the opposite. Anyone who's been writing options on Tesla, on MSTR especially, getting blown out. And today a little bit of de-hedging causing MSTR's big move to the downside. This was a monster move on MSTR, boys. All right, let's come back to Nvidia. Nvidia did manage to break 150, but very choppy move today. I'm expecting tomorrow to be an inside day. I don't expect Nvidia to get below today's low. I don't expect Nvidia to get below tomorrow's high. Today's high. Prove me wrong, Nvidia. Please prove me wrong and get above today's high. I'll be very interested. I will say the resistance zone is still anywhere from 150 to 153 on Nvidia. It could break 150, go into 153, and then reject and go back down. It could reject that 150 and not even go to 153 and go back down. So you want to be careful how you trade in this area. 155 could also be a little bit of a trap area. So you want to kind of be very careful, analyze the tape on this stock, and really focus on this name tomorrow if you're trading it into 2024 March highs and basically closing above those highs. A lot of buying. Are we lagging? It says 140 frames out of 235,000 dropped. So 0.1% dropped. I'm not lagging. Don't say I'm lagging. What up, Bucko? What's up, brother? Snowflake, big move, as we said, above 170. That's the magic number right there. I guess you could say 168.68, which was the number that I was talking about. Let's see if the number actually came into play. I guess it kind of came into play. It teetered around it, but I did say all the way up to 170, right? So 168 to 170. The exact high was 170. It gave you a nice little breakout above 170, pulled back, and then it gave you a buying opportunity off of 170 again. So at this point, ideally, I want to see the stock staying above 170. That's where today's VWAP is also. Actually, today's VWAP is, where is it? 168.92. So 169, you could say. Earnings anchored VWAP is at 166.06 is where the earnings anchored VWAP is. So a dip buy either in this area or this area. I would love to see how Snowflake reacts and potentially looks for a long. A very high priority name tomorrow for a dip buy long opportunity into that zone. So I'm going to put into my notes yesterday or earnings VWAP, look for dip buy long. Okay. And for that, I might actually have to throw in a couple lines to keep an eye on. No, that's not where I wanted to put it. What? Let's do this. Is it Alt-H? Yes, it is. Alt-H, and we have one there already at 168.68, so we'll just leave that one hanging already. That will cover that anchor VWAP from today. All right. So watching Snowflake for a nice dip buy opportunity to get long. If we get below those two levels I just mentioned, basically below 168.68, I don't think you want to continue looking long. Basically 160. What was the earnings anchor VWAP? 165. If we don't hold earnings anchor VWAP, you might not want to look long on this trade. 166. 166, 165. If we don't hold earnings anchored VWAP, you might not want to look long on the stock. You might want to be careful. So that's my idea on Snowflake. Lots of longs these days, Prad. What's going on? I thought you were a bear. What's going on? Pan W, big move to the upside. Pan W, I told you it would reverse. That earnings report wasn't as bad as the stock, proclaimed. It did manage to reclaim the 386, 385 area, rejected off of that area first, ripped 400, rejected 400, pulled back, held that area that we were talking about last night and gave you a beautiful long. However, with how this just went back and forth, I think, you know, it's going to be a very low priority name tomorrow. Very, very low priority name. I'm going to keep an eye on it. Don't get me wrong. Potentially on one of my other scanners, not scanners, but other watch lists. PanW. Let's go see how PanW actually sets up over here. Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. Hey, Dieter. Supplies. Hey, Dieter. Guess what that is? That right there is the 5-day moving average. Crazy how that works. Same zone that I was talking about yesterday. 386 to 385. Surprise, surprise. We also got a good descending triangle over here. Contracting, descending triangle, potential breakout. Low volume, doesn't really make a lot of impact, I would say. But potential breakout, upside, downside patterns, kind of not that important going into pre-market because of the after-hour action and pre-market action anyways. But if there was extra time, you know, markets are going to be open longer soon, and once they are, that could be a potential breakdown or a breakout to the upside to look for a trade opportunity. I've been liking this indicator a lot, and I see Dieter has been stealing it from me. Dieter has been using this indicator quite a bit. So yeah, unless I see like a pattern like this, or I see the 5-day moving average coming into play and the stock is bouncing off the 5 DMA, I'm going to put support 5 DMA. 5 DMA. If it's holding 5 DMA, then I'll look for a long. If not, then, you know, I might just stay away from it. Even looking for a long on the upside with all the craziness that the stock has oh man, PanW actually reversed like that. I thought PanW was still below the all-time high. PanW reversed like that. I remember PanW in these areas. Holy shit, PanW. All right, maybe okay if we start charging above 400 and looking strong above 400 into 410, maybe there's some trade over there on that one. Maybe there's a trade over there on that one to keep an eye out for. PanW. I'm just gonna put in the all-time high to keep an eye out for real quick. Support 5 DMA, 5-day moving average. Resistance 408.53. Obviously, no one's obligated to come in and support the 5-day moving average on PanW, which is currently around 387, 388. No one's obligated to come in this area and have support for PanW. If it does, I would gladly get long. Look how long it took, 25 minutes to hold in this area before it blasted off. So it gives me another opportunity like that in the same area. I'll gladly take it. If not, I'm fucking right off. I'm not looking at the stock. Okay? Pretty simple. Let's go take a look at Target, TGT. TGT, like I said, inside day today, potentially not doing anything, boring, lame, but setting up for something that'll be very, very fun. It actually popped right into yesterday's anchor VWAP, a little bit higher than the anchor VWAP, but then that got rejected and slammed back down. That is the important golden number right there for me. The beautiful even dollar price, an even dollar price that comes from way back in the day also. $120. So we're watching if Target can break down below 120. Can this be a 3-bar breakdown below 120 and give you a big move to the downside, or does it bounce off of 120 and give you a long again? So watching Target for some sort of an opportunity over there. Walmart gave you a new all-time high today. Not really too excited to get, you know, overly happy to day trade Walmart. I think when you got stocks like SMCI, Nvidia, Snowflake, bunch of other names that we've been talking about just now, Walmart just doesn't get my dick hard. Okay, it just doesn't get me excited. I see Barkett talking about APP, so let's go check out what APP is. APP had small pullback today. Your thoughts and support zones for a swing long. APP. This APP? Oh, that's AAP. APP. App. App loving. Oh, App loving. Yeah, App loving. It's very simple. Previous all-time high. As long as the stock doesn't get back below the previous all-time high, you can even use the earnings anchored VWAP as your real support slash dip buy zones for a longer picture area. But you gotta remember that you're buying a stock at previous, like realistically at a crazy zone, probably at a crazy evaluation also. I know that you said swing, not investing. So if you're looking for a swing trade, look, the stock is pretty expensive, 96 PE, right? And if you look at the daily chart, that seems ridiculously extended. But even after the extension, we got consolidation, buyer stepping in, and a beautiful breakout opportunity. This actually could be a big long for the next few years if the market stays on a bull run the way it is at the moment. Who knows? But if the market doesn't stay on a bull run, then this could be one of the stocks that gets absolutely slammed back down and crumbles no matter how good the earnings report is. So you want to be very careful. Right now, looking at the earnings anchored VWAP, it's still on a slope slant to the diagonally upside. You can also see how the shorter term moving averages, one of them is kind of flattening out a little bit, but the other one's still on a slope up. So the stock technically still has buying momentum and buying pressure coming through. My visualization is this earnings anchored VWAP will come right here and then start flattening out. And for that to happen, the stock needs to actually trade much higher. It needs to trade there for it to start getting pulled into this zone. So or it needs to just trade in this area quite a bit for it to slowly get pulled back, right? So two scenarios. It just keeps trading in this area and doesn't really break down below the previous all-time high of, what is that, 302? I'd say 300. I'll just say 300, nice and easy flat number. But once the earnings anchored VWAP catches up, that could indicate a shift in momentum, shift in change in characteristics. We could potentially break below that anchored VWAP and then start holding below the anchored VWAP, or start trading above the anchored VWAP and then still be a bullish sentiment based on the most recent sentiment that the stock has had, right? So AppLovin, not really that important on the watch list for me. The stock, I guess I could throw it on the watch list as long as it gives you a long at 300. Nah, not gonna put it on the watch list. WMT, we kind of talked about that. ET, what a monster move on ET. This stock is actually blocked to trade on my prop floor company wide, not just my floor, but company wide for some reason. I'm not sure why, but this stock is going absolutely nuts this month. I mean, look at that. Big move this month, 17%. I guess it's not nuts because we got stocks like MSTR going, 3 million%, but ET phone home going absolutely bonkers after that beautiful breakout. So we got a nice breakout, a nice run up past that breakout. You could call this overextended. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. There could be a potential short opportunity setting up on this one, but it sucks that I can't goddamn trade the stock. It has good volume behind it. It's going up every single day. It's just charging. I might have to send a ticket to my brokerage tomorrow and be like, yo, why the fuck can I not trade this stock? Unblock this goddamn stock. I need to find a reason why it's moving first so they can unblock it, and then hopefully get some potential trading opportunities on this one. ET is going bonkers, ladies and gentlemen. It is at all-time high, a beautiful recent breakout on the daily chart that is taking into an all-time high. Ha! I own it, says TH. Well, congratulations, buddy. Huh. Good job. Congratulations that your broker is better than mine, okay? ET, phone home. I love it. The stock is going bonkers. What's the news catalyst for ET to go up? It's not a stock. It's an MLP. I wish I knew what that means, TH. What does that mean? What the hell is an MLP? E-transfer LP? Natural gas pipeline transportation and transmission services. So it's not an actual energy company. It's a transport and storage company. Look, I just trade price action, okay? Leave me alone. I just trade price action, okay? And for me, the fact that I can't trade price action, I'm very upset. Master limited partnership. What? Okay. So all-time high 19 bucks. Potentially could go to $20, could go to 25, 30, who knows. You know, we're price discovering at the moment. We're discovering price even after what seems to be a negative earnings report. Okay, insane. ET, what's your EPS? 13.96. So you know, what is a short flow? Non-existent. 2.94 billion, 64 billion market cap. I mean, this is a legitimate company. Why the fuck is this blocked? What? Alright, we really need to figure out why this is blocked on my brokerage. Because usually they block stocks that don't do enough volume, or there could be like some sort of a tax reasons or something. So if there's a tax reason, I understand. But if not, then we gotta start slamming the opportunities like this, right? So watching this stock without a doubt. Next one, Square, SQ. A little bit of a breakout. Nice little peekaboo above that 93. We walked up to 94, but then got right back below 94. Didn't really have the relative volume or the juice behind it. I guess we did have the relative volume, but then that relative volume didn't have more juice behind it for it to continue, keep going higher. It pulled back and basically used that area as a support, that little consolidation area as support. Big volume candle though for that move run up too. Not sure if it was news based, potentially just Bitcoin based, because Square, as I mentioned long time ago, it was one of the only stocks that wasn't doing what Coinbase MSTR was doing, but it also is very much related to what they are doing, right? So it was kind of lagging. So now that Square is kind of waking up, if we see a breakout of this 93, 94 again, you want to be a little alert for this trade. I'm not sure we see that tomorrow. I could be wrong. If Bitcoin wants to start taking out and going into 100K, we're still at 98K. Nothing really wrong in the ideal structure of Bitcoin. Yeah, MicroStrategy broke down and all hell broke loose, but nothing really wrong with the overall concept of MicroStrategy, overall concept of Bitcoin going into 100K, especially when we got Papa Sailor loading the boat on Bitcoin every single opportunity he gets. So we're gonna keep watching to see if Square can use that momentum to rally higher, or because Bitcoin is not really getting into 100 yet, is it going to keep rejecting these areas and keep pulling back? However, you do seem to have a very good support area right into 89.50 on SQ to the downside. So pretty good zones over here to keep an eye out. 93 to 94, and then 89.50 to $90 to the downside on SQ. SMCI gave you a beautiful short opportunity off the $30, and then it rejected perfectly. If you look at the stock on the hourly chart, there was a level into $30.75. It rejected that area perfectly. I guess getting above 30 and staying above 30 right now. It didn't really stay above 30 because we didn't close above 30, but in my opinion, that's close enough, right? So if we can stay a little bullish above 30 tomorrow and actually start threatening the seller at 31, I think SMCI could have a little bit of a potential blast off, a little bit of a dirty, hidden, sneaky move to the upside, but you really need to see buying coming in above 30. It needs to be strong above 30 for us to be looking for that potential crazy reactionary move on SMCI. Google was, more DOJ news. They want to break up the company. They monopolize, blah, 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 blah. Google also had a little bit of a Gemini news recently. Gemini told somebody to go, KT, I guess that's what I say, KT, not kill Tony, but go, end their lives, is what Gemini and AI said to a person. It said humans are useless, human lives are useless, you should just go end your life, and all that person was trying to do was ask help for his homework. But there are rumors that he could have manipulated it to give him the answer that it did, and so on. But hey, pretty insane. Google, you're kind of dropping the ball big time on AI here. But now with the DOJ news, splitting up of Google Chrome, one of my most used browsers, Google Chrome being split up, and potentially not a good thing for Google. So a little bit of a sell action, in my opinion. Look, that earnings report was pretty pretty well reacted. So the fact that we did go down is pretty bearish, but I'm not overly bearish on Google, because any moves to the downside, especially into the bigger, longer term time frame longer time frame moving averages, is just a no-brainer buy for me. It's very rare that the stock actually spends below that area. You can just go look all the way through history. The only times it really spends below that area is when the market's really in recession. Google, Microsoft, Apple, these big names, these big companies that don't really ever go bankrupt, right? I guess Google has a pretty good competition now with AI and everything, but they very rarely stay below the longer term moving averages. So any pullbacks into these longer term moving averages will be just hard for me to look for a short. You can see how long we also consolidated in those areas where we bounced off of today. So I'd just be it's a great strategy to do that, market. Just go long on these names at the 200-day moving average, and then if the market looks really weak, then you just get out, take a quick little loss, and then reassess later on, right? So if you just bought it at 166.50 right off at the close that we are at, you're already $1 in the money. Already $1 in the money, right? But I would say you want to be a little careful if the stock starts looking weak below 160. That is maybe you want to start questioning if you want to dollar cost averaging, if you want to buy more shares. What is the actual news behind the validity behind the news? Do you think the stock is lower value now? Is Google lower value just because Google Chrome is no longer under their umbrella? How often do you see Google Chrome numbers when they report earnings? How often do you see Google Chrome numbers being listed in the earnings report? It's usually App Store, YouTube, ad revenue, AdSense. You don't really see Chrome revenue statistics, right? So how important is it really that Google has to give up Chrome? I don't think it's that monumental. I could be wrong. I could be wrong in that sentiment. I could be wrong, but I don't think it's that monumental. So I think dip buy opportunities is obviously the right way to go. You can also see how the 300-day moving average, I'm pretty sure, or that's a 250-day moving average, is currently at the very same price that we just marked up, which is around 159, 160 on Google. So on the watch list for sure, potentially a pullback into 170. I could look for a short if there is weakness under 170. That's like the most recent lows, if I remember. Actually, no, that's a breakout high on the earnings day. So potentially a pullback and a reject of 170 for an intraday short. But besides that, I'm not really too excited to trade Google. So for the priority for Google for me to trade is going to be very low. It's a blue priority. Let's go to the next one, Palantir. Palantir gave you a decent short on a reject of 63 today, and then it gave you a nice little move down. But did I not tell you that Palantir will have a lower inside day today than it did yesterday? Look at that trend. Inside day to inside day, inside day to inside day, and then inside day to inside day. Now, I don't think we have a lower inside day today than tomorrow than today. But if we do, I'll lose my goddamn mind. I'll lose my goddamn mind. We are finally flattening out on the anchored VWAP. This looks a little bit similar to what was that stock we were talking about earlier? We were just talking about a stock that just ran up, and I said I'm not going to put it on my watch list. AppLovin, APP, right? Breaks out, pulls back, consolidates, right? Breaks out, pulls back, consolidates above the previous all-time high. And now once that consolidation breaks after a little bit of contraction, that's going to be fun for us. So potential break of anchored VWAP, the anchored VWAP catching up to the lows, exactly like how I said for AppLovin, the anchored VWAP will be potentially catching up to the lows. It could potentially trade in this area long and then bring the anchored VWAP there, or trade up higher in the area and bring the anchored VWAP faster and higher. So we'll be seeing how app 11 sets up for that. But for Palantir, I think just slow down on this action. Contraction, boring, sleeper. Reddit with a monster breakout above 139, 140. You did not really have any opportunity to get long off of 139, I would say. It says today's low is 139.57. I say bullshit. The volume off the open and the relative volume off the open was very, very low. It was honestly very hard to look for the long because there's moves like Nvidia, there's moves like MSTR happening right off the open. I thought even focusing for a tiny long on Reddit would just be stupid and idiotic, and mainly I'd get yelled at by my manager for watching Reddit instead of watching like Nvidia or Tesla, or not Tesla, or MSTR, which I wasn't even fucking allowed to trade anyways, right? So I thought I would get yelled at, so I just kind of stayed away from it. But I watched the stock move all day though. What a monster move on Reddit today, breaking the all-time high above 150 and just continue breaking. So today you can look at this. This is basically very similar to Palantir again, right? Setting up, breaking out, consolidating. After consolidating, breaking out higher. So Palantir could do this, or Palantir could go the opposite way. So now that Reddit is setting up for this, you can look at this as day one. So what is today's VWAP? 152. Ideally, you don't want to see the stock breaking below 152 on any sort of a pullback and giving you a nice little bounce long off of 152. So yesterday's VWAP is 145, which is actually we're above. Today's VWAP, we're a little bit below today's VWAP. Today's VWAP is 150 on the 5-minute. So ideally, I would like to see the stock get above 150. A little bit below 150 is 145, which is what yesterday's VWAP is. Not sure yesterday's VWAP is that important for tomorrow, but right now with how things are setting up, it seems a little important. So this after hour low, we'll see how pre-market sets up. Maybe pre-market gives us a little bit more volume, a little bit more ranges on the higher area for us to play with, meaning it reclaims 150 and gives us opportunity to play off 150 in the pre-market. Then I'm interested to look for some sort of a day two long on Reddit. But just based on the chart right now, that little drop off in the after hour, that is not good. That drop off in the after hours, that kind of kills the whole scenario where the stock goes through today's high, breaks out above today's high, and then keeps on running above today's high. It's very rare that you see an after hour move like this and the stock is able to reclaim today's high and then go for another run. It just potentially stalls out near today's high. So looking for a long into potentially 145, even where today's low was 140, right? 145, 140. If we can find a low in that long in that area on Reddit on a dip buy, nice little hold on a 5-minute pattern, I'm interested to look for a long on Reddit for a move up. But orange priority, not a high priority. SoFi breaking out of 15, monster move above 15, and then it even held above 15 for about 15 minutes. That's crazy. Held above 15 for about 15 minutes, gave you a beautiful 3-bar breakout pattern. Your risk was very little. You would have entered right there at 13 cents, $15.13. Your risk was at the break of that low. Let's just say $14.99. So you're risking about 15-20 cents, and you got a beautiful reward of 30, 35 cents, 40 cents coming out to play over there all the way to the upside on SoFi. However, a little bit of an ugly selling move on the close, but managed to stay above 15. So SoFi looking good. Low on volume, low on relative volume. So for me, technically anywhere from 14.50 to 15, as long as we find buying above that whole zone, I'll be watching for a potential dip buy, but I'm not expecting a lot of juice on that name unless we start getting active in the pre-market, some news, some catalyst, some real reason to keep an eye on SoFi in pre-market. I'll keep an eye on it. Other than that, it's actually going to get downgraded from orange to a blue. I gave it an orange rating right now. I'll give it a blue rating right now. From orange to a blue downgrade. ALAB, another one that was very high priority for me, and I actually managed to trade this one. ALAB breaking out of the all-time high in pre-market, had a monster run up off the open itself. And I was a little upset. I was like, oh, come on, this is annoying. You're not gonna give me a good stall to get long into. This is very annoying. But afterwards, it gave you a big pullback right into today's open. And then right around today's open, I got long. I was able to capture a beautiful long all the way up to $106. I got long 102, and I was risking all the way back into, let's say, 101, 101.50. So about $1.50 is what I was risking, and I basically got $4 or $5 out of that. So beautiful move to the north side on ALAB. I could have gotten bigger, but I got stopped out as the stock took out that 5-minute candle low right there and got back below VWAP. I would have loved to catch the bigger move on this one, but sadly, no bueno, no bueno, no dice, no bueno, no dice. So ALAB, kind of the same scenario as I almost said Rocket Lab, kind of the same scenario as Reddit, because even this one is under that anchored VWAP from today. So you could look at today as day one, but technically it did not have the juice to stay in the higher end of the ranges. So it's kind of a big turnoff for me. You can look at the 100 level still on ALAB. I don't think that's a bad idea. So as long as we stay dip and stay buying above 100, another long opportunity for a potential move back into today's VWAP, or even a bigger move past today's VWAP into today's high, that will be very much so fun. I'll be watching this one on watch this on tomorrow. I can't talk right now because I'm trying to think and look at my watches at the same time. God damn it. Okay, next one. OKLO, big volume spike. Not really big volume spike, but big intraday move on OKLO, 20% move. They had some acquisition news. They're buying out another company. SMR had a move off of that catalyst, I guess, and they actually broke their previous all-time high. Is that, let me correct myself before I say something stupid. Yes, their previous all-time high. So they managed to crack that by a little and then pushed back down. Obviously, this is the one that actually has a partnership with Amazon. So this is kind of the one that we want to maybe keep an eye on a little bit more. But however, OKLO actually had the catalyst today, and they made the move. They brought in a little bit more volume. They helped their partners, sisters, brothers, their partners in crimes, NNE and SMR actually break out of previous levels. So all of these stocks back on watch again. NNE basically above 28, anywhere from 27.80 to $28. If we see buying above this area, I think looking long will not hurt you, because you could get another big move up. Today's VWAP also ending right at $28 on the daily chart. Let's go zoom into the 5-minute chart, and it's at $28.15 on the 5-minute chart. So basically $28 today VWAP, a pullback and hold at 28. I think you can expect the move back into at least $30 or even 31, which was today's high. So we'll be watching, pretty high important. SMR, not as clean as SMR, not as, however, AMR, that's a pretty good chart. I like this one. Low volume though, very, very low volume. Oh, boring. SMR, not as clean as NNE, and same with OKLO, not as clean as NNE, but the idea kind of stays true. As long as we start clearing this little 2 white lines, this zone, and staying above that zone, which is obviously its all-time high, the stock can be a little important for us tomorrow. As the energy sector, we just talked about ET a little bit. OKLO, NNE, SMR all seems to be moving up to the north side. AI, C3 AI moving up again. Recently had a partnership with Microsoft. They started blasting off 3-bar breakout on the daily chart. Beautiful breakout pattern on the 3-bar over here. Also previous resistance. So previous resistance potentially will be turning into some sort of a support over here. That's going to be 33 to 33.50 area. Looking to see if we can find some buying in that zone. You can Today's VWAP 34.50, potentially 34.50 gives you a bounce on the stock if you look at today as another day 1, but I'll just look at today as a day 3. So realistically, there isn't a day 4. So expecting the stock to have an inside day, maybe in the higher end of today's range. That means a reject of 36 that can potentially give you some sort of a short or a dip buy around today's VWAP that gives you a move back into 36. So 2 scenarios over there, or it trades in the lower end of today's range where it stays somewhere in this pocket above 33 to today's VWAP, or it actually managed to break that and starts going back into these previous lows over here and looks a little bit weaker. So a couple scenarios over there that I can permutations that I can see playing out on AI tomorrow. Not sure if I want to play all of them or any of them. I might want to play the possible fail break of 36 or a reject of 36. That might be a potential possibility that I might keep a watch for. But besides that, I think I'm pretty turned off on wanting to do anything else on AI. Yeah, it could bounce off of 33, but it seems like a very dirty trade to me. Like, if you're not able to stay above today's VWAP, you're going into 33, and me looking long there just seems like a big turn off. I just don't even want to look for it. Coinbase big slap down today along with MSTR. Basically Bitcoin trades. These are all the same ideas. Today was kind of the day one of dislocation from Bitcoin to MSTR. MSTR and Bitcoin were so hand in hand and tied in terms of how they were moving, but eventually the dislocation had to come in, right? And today was that big day, down 16.16%. Not saying that it's done selling off, but it could potentially have a little bit of a breather tomorrow. Today's candle so huge that I'm expecting a nice little inside day, a bounce off of today's low, potentially rejecting from today's VWAP on any bounces. Not expecting the stock to stay above 440. Today's VWAP says 437.37. Usually trading views anchored VWAPs are bullshit and they're garbage. On the 5-minute chart, it's actually coming in at 462, which also happens to be what is that, yesterday's low. So Wednesday's low is kind of where we're coming into. Yesterday's low is 460, and anchored VWAP coming in around 462 for today. Maybe not anchored VWAP, but today's VWAP coming in around 462 on the 5-minute chart. So potential pullbacks into 460 to 465 area where MSTR finds reject in, that you can kind of look to short the stock if you are interested for that short. I'm not expecting the stock to go higher than that tomorrow at all, but I could be wrong, because Bitcoin, if you start going crazy, if MSTR, if Michael Saylor goes absolutely batshit crazy and just buys a shit ton of crypto tomorrow or tonight, that could really rally MSTR back up tomorrow. So it's just anyone's gamble. That's why I said I don't think a lot of people will be swinging this name. So you want to be careful. Something that I actually found out, there's a ticker called SMLR. Doing a ton of volume, brought in 3 million shares today. Usually not a lot of volume at all, but doing decent amount of volume. $66 position, SMLR. No, this is not it. SMLR. SLMR? You know what? Let's just go find it. Moist mango, moist mango, moist mango. Moist mango, moist mango, moist mango. What's this ticker? SMST. I was close. Fuck you. SMST. Doing 3 million shares today. Average AUM is 14.42 million. So decent amount of volume, but this is basically the short MSTR. So instead of shorting MSTR, this is a $3, $4 stock that you can keep an eye on. That will potentially be easier to trade. You just have to go long. SMST. You just have to go long anytime you think that MSTR. Oh my god, my brain is frying. If you think MSTR is going to crash, you just have to watch SMST and go long SMST. Right? Pretty simple. Monster move on this stock today, 33% to the upside. 2 times leverage ETF short. 2 times leverage ETF short. So putting that one at a pretty high importance for me for tomorrow, because if I want to short MSTR and I'm not really allowed to short MSTR again tomorrow, I might lose my shit. I might go absolutely crazy. So I need to trade the stock tomorrow, and I want to be able to do so, and this is a good instrument to do so. So watching obviously other cryptocurrency based tools. IBIT is a good one to trade cryptocurrency. Direct one-to-one correlation. If you're looking for MSTR as a direct one-to-one correlation, guess what? That correlation broke today. Done. No longer. But IBIT is still going to offer you that correlation. BITO is still going to offer that correlation. So if you're looking for those trades, here are two ETFs that still do that for you. GTLB breaking out and moving a little bit higher with a tiny bit increase of volume, and you guys know how happy I get anytime I see GTLB making moves like this. So nice little move on GTLB. As for a day trade, I don't think there is anything here, sadly. Yeah, maybe a pullback into the 64, 63 area would give you a little bit of a long, but you know, very low volume, no real catalyst. Earnings day in 14 days. I think it just popped because some of the stocks went higher today. Later on in the day, it did pop in pre-market actually, and did not really sell off as the market was selling off. So that's a bullish thing. But you know, no real catalyst for it to go up today, other than you know, some bullshit buy rating. So I'm not too interested in a long on GTLB for tomorrow, but we'll see what sets up. Did they ever bring the pony to the market? No, they kept My Little Pony to themselves. They did not want to share their little pony with us, at least not for this time. And you know what? I should have mentioned this yesterday. The stock we were comparing Pony to, WRD, did the same thing. They were supposed to IPO. They did not IPO the day they were supposed to, and they IPO'd a week or two later. Guess what Pony's gonna do? Probably a very similar thing, exact similar thing. And guess what they're gonna do on the day that it IPOs? Exact similar thing. I'm not gonna doubt it at all. So still gonna keep an eye for it. I don't think it IPO'd today because I was watching it whole day. It did not open at all. I paid for the shorts on the stock, so I wasted 12 cents for every 100 shares. Fucking bullshit. I want my money back. The stock never goddamn IPO'd, but we'll be watching it for the IPO for sure. Thank you for actually mentioning it. I'll keep an eye for it if it IPOs. GTLB, LMND. LMND still going bonkers. Day 1, day 2, day 3. I think it ends there. Usually ends there. So potentially topping out at today's high. The stock is monstrous at the moment. Jeez. That's IPO day low. And we are pushing just around that area and holding a little bit above IPO day low, which is around $49.50. So I guess you could say as long as the stock shows you buying above 49 to 50, you can continue looking long potentially. But if it doesn't, that's a trigger to go short. That's your trigger to go short. The second it stops holding 49 on the hold, it's your trigger to go short in my opinion. And you can see how today's VWAP on the daily chart's actually at 49. Let's go zoom into the 5-minute chart. Today's VWAP on the 5-minute chart ending apparently around at $49.72, right around 50, let's say, right around 50. But I'm gonna be watching how that 49 area sets up. I think a breakdown below 49 could be a good short. Amazon gave you a good short below 200, and then it stayed weak below 200. I guess, you know, Amazon, Bezos' ex-wife was previously mentioned to be selling some shares. Maybe Bezos is back again looking to sell some shares again. So Amazon peaking back below 200, looking a little bit bearish. Keep an eye on that one. Tesla still playing out in that little consolidated box, holding above the 9 EMA, holding above whatever this anchored VWAP is that I put in. I can't remember what that one is. Holding above the election day anchored VWAP, holding above the earnings anchored VWAP. So still looking bullish, but the most important level is that 350, because how we're playing right now on this stock, if we break above 350, we're easily going above 360 into maybe even 400 funding secured. Sorry, 420 funding secured. Not in one day, but over the next few days, next few weeks, and so on. So Tesla, with the way it's setting up right now, I'm getting ready for an explosive breakout. So 350 breakout long, watching that one very closely. Apple, history repeats again. 230 fail break, selling out, pushing back to the downside, giving you a monster move on the sell-off, especially when the market was selling off. And then later on in the day, it bounced exactly off of yesterday's low, moved right back into 230, and then sold off of 230 again like clockwork. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. right? So watching how Apple sets up. Actually, today's low seems to be exactly yesterday's low too, interestingly enough. 225.89, 225.71. So watching 225.70 to 226 as a support on Apple. Put it in Tesla, lol. 225.70 to 226 on support as Apple, and 230 as resistance on Apple. And if the market finally looks bullish and getting ready to break out to the upside, and Apple looks bullish and getting ready to break out to the upside, you got an easy breakout marker right there that potentially takes Apple right back into the all-time high area. So watch Apple without a doubt. Last but not least, the last sector that I want to talk about, boy oh boy, ever since I've been looking at stocks on trade idea scanners for you guys, my watch lists have just been getting insanely long. My streams have been getting insanely long too. I hope you guys appreciate it. ETH, hit that like and hit that subscribe if you haven't already to show me that you appreciate it. I'm putting in a lot of work here. ETH, boys, is that an ETH? Is that an Ethereum ETF of some sort? Yeah, that's Ethereum futures. No, wait. That on the NASDAQ? Oh, it is. Okay, yeah, so Ethereum Grayscale, ETH. Okay, this one went up quite a bit too. Ooh. That's a nice breakout on ETH right there to keep an eye out for. I would say so. So I'm going to put that one right there, ETH. .am. I'm going to put .am in my notes because that's how I pull it up in my charts. That's a beautiful breakout right there to keep an eye out for on ETH. Let's watch this one for sure. Another one, ESTC, Ecstatic. I'm guessing that's what it is. I don't know what it is. Elastic. Nice breakout on Elastic right there. $94 stock, pretty okay on volume. A nice little spike on volume on the earnings report. Looks like I've previously traded this stock, but yeah, nope, we're not going to care about this one. Let's come back to the last topic that I wanted to talk about. That is the breakout on XLF. So XLF having a nice little breakout over here above its all-time high. So as long as XLF can stay above 50, I think you can continue looking for long across the board, especially in banking stocks specifically. So that could be WFC, Wells Fargo, which broke the all-time high today, very similar to an XLF pattern. That could be JP Morgan, which is currently still holding and still undefeated, holding very strong above 235.50. And if you actually look how JP Morgan set up today for a good trade opportunity, boom, chopped around later on in the day, just held above the today's open, did not break below today's open for a long time, and then just broke out to the upside as XLF continued to rally higher. So as long as XLF, in my opinion, stays above 50, you can look for longs on WFC, on JP Morgan, but the easier trade might just be sitting long XLF if you got it at 50. If you got it at 50 and buyers are showing you that they're buying at 50, by this I mean 15, 20, 25 minutes of buying continuously staying above 50, that's a good support above 50 intraday. So if buyers are showing continuous support above 50, or if the stock rallies above 50, goes to 51, 52, and then pulls back, but on the pullback it manages to stay above 50, 50, 50, 51, wherever it stays, as long as it stays above 50, that's still pretty bullish for me to continue potentially looking for a dip buy long on XLF. So pretty good breakout on the overall sector over here. And that, muchachos, is, where's my watch list button? And that, muchachos, is the watch list button. We have a lot of purple on the watch list for tomorrow. Potentially a lot of them getting downgraded from purple to an orange, or maybe even a blue for example, Baidu. If Baidu doesn't have enough volume, or it's not showing me like it wants to break down that low, I might not even care to look for the long on Baidu and just downgrade the stock to orange or a blue, and then potentially keep an eye on Baidu for a much later trade in the day or something, right? So some of these stocks could very easily, like Target for example, if Target doesn't want to give me a 3-bar breakout below 120 and show weak below 120, I might not even give a shit about target. I don't care about going long target tomorrow 120 because I could easily go long snowflake at yesterday's earnings VWAP if it holds and have a even bigger explosive move. $7 ATR compared to $5 ATR, more liquidity, just way easier trades in my opinion over here, or even Pan W. So there's way better opportunities for me to keep an eye on other than target if I'm looking for a long. So some of these stocks could easily get downgraded based on their pre-market action, but right now we have a lot of purple and orange stocks. Some blue stocks over there also, Google, Sophie, or should I say SoFi, and BJ's. Let's quickly show you guys the econ calendar and then get ready to call it a night because I'm pretty exhausted. My throat's hurting a little bit. I'm pretty exhausted. All right, let's go to earnings. Econ calendar. Right off the bat, we got a bunch of 3-star events. S&P PMI numbers coming out 9:45. Nothing at 8:30. So after market opens, a little bit of potential craziness expected on the market. Some fireworks expected on the markets. The 9:45 number, the PMI number. Usually Michigan numbers don't really affect the market that much, but I have seen them affect the market before. So don't be alarmed at 10 o'clock if the market does a random spike of some sort. But after 10 o'clock, it's just kind of smooth sailing for us unless you're in the commodity world. If you're looking at any commodities, you might be interested around 3:30 as the commodity speculative numbers come out. Before intraday equity traders, futures traders, I think you only care about the 9:45 and the 10 o'clock event. Besides that, it's smooth sailing going into tomorrow. Let's see if the market gives us good opportunities. Is it a free fall Friday? Your guess is as good as mine. Today's selling on the market. Let's quickly talk about QQQ before we end the night here. Today's selling on the market got bought up drastically. And if you look at the daily chart here on the QQQ, I mean, that's a good amount of buying. Look at the last 2 days candle, right? The tail lows showing you that we sell off, but then we hold and we don't really break. We don't look weak. And the fact that we broke up after breaking down, and especially in pre-market, we ran up and then we broke down. So all of this just does not look too weak to me. Granted, we are under what I believe is that FOMC? Was November 7th FOMC? If that's at 2 o'clock, yeah, that's FOMC. I want to quickly also put in the election day anchor VWAP. Should I do November 5th or should I do November 6th? I guess election day is November 6th. Either way, November 6th anchored VWAP or November 7th anchored VWAP doesn't really make too much sense. You know, it doesn't make that much difference. I mean, the idea is we're still holding slightly under the anchored VWAPs over here and potentially a turnaround as QQQ getting ready to start breaking out higher. So looking for a free fall Friday on the market. I don't know. It's gonna be a hard thing. But I think opportunities, we have planned for a lot. Of opportunities. I think there's a lot of opportunities. There's no reason to cry about not enough stocks to trade. So let's have some fun on the market, boys and girls, and hit some home runs. Slam dunks, some easy layups. We have a lot of easy layups planned out here, so let's have some easy layups thrown into the market and make some good buck tomorrow. I'll catch you guys I guess Monday. What day is my stream with Victor? I think I'm streaming with Victor this week. Let me just quickly open my DMs and see if I'm streaming with Victor H Investing this week. November 24th, 1:30 p.m. Sunday. November 24th. So that will be this Sunday. 1:30 p.m. I'll put the link on my Twitter. I might even no, I won't stream it on my stream, but I will be on Victor H's stream. If you're interested, I'll post the link on my Twitter, so make sure you follow my Twitter for that. That will be 1:30 Sunday stream. Monday closed. Really, Monday's closed. I guess in that case you will see me Tuesday. You'll see me Tuesday. Have a great long weekend. Thanksgiving, gobble gobble turkey day coming up for my American friends. Ooh, nice little long weekend. Party time, party time. So nice little long weekend coming up. Gobble gobble time for for your Americans. Happy Thanksgiving Day. I will see you guys Tuesday. Until then, TraderPrad out. Peace. Adios. Good luck on the markets tomorrow, boys and girls. Daddy loves you.
Tech basket get destroyed. Get ready for trade off of. Get ready for the watch list for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna bring in my big screen over here, back to another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day, so let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow, as you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to.
My mic was muted. My mic was muted. So I said it looks like the holiday is actually Thursday, 28th November. So I will be streaming Monday. So I'll see you Monday. My mic was muted. I'll see you guys Monday. Thursday next week, November 28th, is Thanksgiving holiday. So Thursday, day off. So final stream will be Wednesday next week. Short week. I'll see you guys Monday. Have a good weekend. TraderPrad out. Good luck tomorrow. Love ya. Peace.
8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to. Trader Sync. Promo code down below. Promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.